giving you an opportunity to get the full story from the people who tell it best. This is Mediacom News Leaders.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mediacom News Leaders. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Carol Kelly. Joining us today from the city of Cedar Rapids, we've got Mayor Brad Hart. Mayor, welcome.
Thank you.
So you have been in the mayor's office now for just about 8 months. Can you talk to us a little bit about how that experience has gone so far and maybe what has surprised you so far?
Well, it's been a great experience. It's gone fast, and then there are some days where it seems like I have been there longer than 8 months. But I'm surprised that I've kind of lost my first name now. Everybody just calls me Mayor, which is new. I think the most pleasant surprise is that we really have terrific city staff. That when we have complex issues, then we have staff council meetings to get briefed from the staff, and they always have the exact printed materials for us with graphs and charts if we need those. They're really articulate when they present them, and the coolest thing is they're excited. You can tell how excited they are about what they're doing. So I come out of those meetings really energized and very confident that the information I received was correct and complete. So that's been a great experience.
Walking into your role, obviously a big hot topic was the flood mitigation systems and the flood control systems. Recently, the federal government has awarded Cedar Rapids $117 million toward this system. Tell us exactly what that means for Cedar Rapids.
Yeah, it means so much. Dollar-wise, it's $117 million we don't have to borrow. And if we had to borrow it, that probably would be like $200 million savings with the interest over time for that. So that's a big deal. The Army Corps of Engineers will oversee that work and the spending of that, and they are fired up. They are ready to go. They've always loved that project, but now there's money behind it, so they're really anxious to go. It should speed up the overall time frame for the process at least a few years. We're still working on that. I think maybe the biggest plus in that is Cedar Rapidians feel better now. They feel like, the federal government finally is noticing us. They finally recognize this is an important project for Cedar Rapids, and Cedar Rapids is important to the state of Iowa. And I've had lots of business owners say, whatever we have to do to get this finished. I'm ready to pay more in property taxes. And part of that is the flood, not having flood protection is really keeping us from developing even more than we are already. There are businesses that want to expand, but they still have the risk of flooding. And lots of businesses and homeowners are paying flood insurance premiums. Some of them told us they're paying like $30,000 and $40,000 a year in flood insurance premiums that will go away. And that money can be used to pay higher wages, to further expand their business, to invest in the community in other ways. And when we have the flood protection system in place, the city will have, I think, 130 acres of land that can have some type of development on it. There'll be lots of recreational amenities that are put into that. So there's so much excitement for the future when we get this flood protection system put in place.
It's hard to believe it's been 10 years since the floods of '08. Can you tell us a little bit about the timeline? So with this federal funding, there's going to have to be some more money raised, and then ultimately when this project is going to be completed? Well, if you had a crystal ball.
If I had I would like to think that the east side, the federal money is only for the east side. So I'd like to think that the east side work could be finished in maybe 5 to 7 years. But I know that we will continue. We can't just do the east side and have the flooding worse on the west side. So there'll be work done, as there already has been on the west side too, as we go. Some of I think the whole project, I would guess it might be 11 to 13 years instead of 15 to 20. And some of that is because the money we're getting from the state, which is they're letting us keep some of our sales tax growth for flood protection, we get that every year. So we may at some point decide to borrow or bond for that and pay it off with future years of the sales tax money. But but right now we don't know that. So I think it'll go more quickly, but not quickly enough.
Can you talk a little bit too about some of the feedback that you're receiving from the residents about specifically this issue and the flood control system issue?
Yeah, I mentioned they're excited. I think people finally believe it's going to happen. And the city has already been spending money. You know, the Nubo, the levee down there, and the gate that's on the 16th Avenue Bridge. Utilities have been moved on the other side, on the west side along Czech Village. Utilities have been moved, and a levee will be going in there. The McGrath Amphitheater is part of our flood protection system. The wall around Quaker is going up now. So work is being done, but we only have so much money, and that money again comes in from the city's regular general operating budget, but also from the sales tax revenue.
And there's a place that people can go to find out what's happening as well, and
absolutely.
kind of the progress.
Yeah, absolutely. It's on the city's website. And tonight, there's a flood control system open house at the water treatment facility on Shaver Road. And they can go and get lots of information about it. And as we're going back and putting in the flood protection system in those areas where there'll be some land that could be developed for recreational uses, the city had already gone to a lot of neighborhood associations a long time ago when they put these plans together to say, what do you want to see here? And now we'll go back out, because it's been a number of years, to say, does this still make sense? Is this what you want to do? So people have a chance to weigh in and do it again.
So let's talk about local economy and jobs. So some of the major employers here in town have changed ownerships. So we've got Rockwell Collins, you've got Transamerica, Diamond V, Mills have been impacted because of just a change in ownership. Can you talk to us a little bit about how that will impact the city of Cedar Rapids?
Yeah, each of those was maybe a little scary when we first heard about them. Certainly the Rockwell one was a little scary. UTC, Rockwell will merge into United Technologies and become Collins Aerospace. Clay Jones, who's the CEO of Rockwell, said he really didn't expect, other than we'll lose our headquarters, our corporate headquarters, and there'll be some key leaders who will be transitioned, I think, to Florida. But he really expected that the overall employment in Cedar Rapids will grow in the coming years. We will be the only UTC Rockwell facility that will have two divisions, the only place in the country that will have two divisions. And I expected that because we have the facilities to house people, because of the work ethic, and because of the cost of living. I really think that that's the plan will be to grow employment here. So I think the future is really much more positive than we all first thought. Transamerica, it's not a change in ownership. Transamerica partnered with TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. So TCS would handle some of the plant administration work. TCS is an Indian company, but they're worldwide. They have maybe almost 400,000 employees worldwide. And they now have taken the Transamerica employees who were doing that work are now employed by TCS, because Transamerica said, we'll partner with you, but you're going to hire these employees and you're going to lease one of our buildings at Edgewood and 42nd, so we don't have an empty building there. And TCS wants to grow its U.S. presence from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And those are generally pretty high-tech, high-paying jobs. So that's a real positive. Plus, the Transamerica employees who don't do that type of work and are still Transamerica employees are all moving down to Transamerica's facilities on C Street, Southwest. And Transamerica is putting in a new building that will connect those two buildings to the tune of $40 or $45 million. Mark Mullen with Transamerica said Cedar Rapids will always be an important part of Transamerica, and we envision the Southwest development there to be kind of like a Google campus. And then Diamond V Mills, that's just another investment by Cargill in our community. Cargill has the ability, because of its worldwide presence, to really expand the sales of the products that Diamond V Mills makes, and they're already adding on to that facility so they can produce more.
Are there any big news, big plans for economic development then that we can expect to hear about sometime soon?
Well, there are always new projects. It's amazing how many people are investing, continue to invest in Cedar Rapids. You know, the Skogman family, their new headquarters is being built on like 5th Street and 1st Avenue. For the first time in forever, there's going to be a new development in the 1400 block of 1st Avenue on the north side in what's now the College District. So it'll be some retail, coffee shop, a laundromat, retail shops that college students want to see, and then 2 or 3 floors of apartments above it. And I'm pretty certain there'll be another development right across the street from that. So we're kind of cleaning up that area too. The former casino property is almost 8 acres, right near downtown, across the street from downtown, across the river, I mean. And the city has just gone out for a request for qualifications to find a developer, local or national, who can come in and help design what we want there, working with the city and the community, but somebody who has the wherewithal to actually see it through. So that's exciting. We may have a 25-story building next to the Paramount. That's Steve Emerson has put forth a project for that, and so we're continuing to look at that. But there's projects all in every quadrant. Every single quadrant there are 2 new housing projects going up along Ellis Boulevard that will help get some traffic over there. Pretty soon the Alliant facility that keeps Ellis Boulevard from going straight to 1st Avenue will be moved, and Ellis will go straight through to 1st Avenue. People will be able to get over there easily. It will develop that property. There's a lot more.
What are you most looking forward to in the coming months?
That property at 1st and 1st on the west side that'll be an exciting project. I'm anxious to see where that ends up. I'm anxious for the city council to finally to have a real plan on how we're going to pay for the gap in our flood protection system, so we can let people know here's how we're going to do it, and people can plan and prepare for that. I'm anxious to get that done. I really think that in the next month or so, I hope that the city and the county and the school district will agree on a structure on how we can move the set task force initiatives forward. Those were important initiatives that the city and the school district and the county have all made an effort to try to address, but I think we can coordinate that effort more, and I think that'll be done very quickly. And there's more than that, but it's really a good time to be the mayor of Cedar Rapids, and sometimes I just say, don't screw it up, Brad.
You had some big shoes to fill coming into this role as mayor. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the feedback that you've received so far in your role, and some of the things that you have helped accomplish, and some of the processes that you've put into place, and those kinds of things that you feel like you've helped to push the city of Cedar Rapids in the right direction?
Well, the feedback, knock on wood, has been really positive. We were invited to the White House shortly after I was in office, and there were a couple mayors there, but no mayors the size of the city of Cedar Rapids, and governors and senators. So it was really a sign that the White House knows who we are and where we are, and so that was really an important thing. I think the whole effort, we expanded the number of people who are serving on our boards and commissions. That was really a goal of mine, to let's share, let's get people more involved. If they're more involved, they feel more connected to the community, and let's use their ideas and their expertise to do even more. And then today, I have my first Mayor's Youth Council meeting. And so we have this group of youth that'll give them a voice and a show of what our government is.
Well, you've done a great job so far. We wish you the best over the next few years. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This has been Mediacom News Leaders, your opportunity to get the full story from the most reliable sources exclusively on Mediacom News Leaders.